So good afternoon, everyone. And it's my pleasure to present at this IBEX Summit from this wonderful place in London. Though I'm passionately connected to most of all our wonderful customers in India and all the upbeat technologies and challenges that we have within the country. So I'm here to present an automated cyber breach management platform that we have to offer to most of our clients. And our buzz and our pitch for most of our clients as of today is cyber automation, something that not many vendors talk about, but we have passionately achieved over the years with our experience of working with wonderful clients like many of you who are present for this session. This is not new to us. As we go in different situations, the number of breaches are increasing, and the value and the return of investment that we have for technology is diminishing, or all the investments that we are doing is questioned and is being challenged. Because as we see, as the number of breaches increase, the demand for technology increases. And coupled along with the explosion of technology, we have a lot of challenges also that we are surrounded with staff challenges, shortage of skill, shortage of time to resolve a certain problem, and the biggest nightmare is budget. So how can we kind of complement the two? We need to deploy many solutions, but at the same time there's no budget. And it couldn't have been worse, where we are now in situations where we are just coming out of a pandemic, or imagine ourselves when we just got into the pandemic and all the challenges that most of the organizations within the BFSI sector had. They had to be able to provision access to users, to internal users, to customers, to several people across the frame. So what typically most of the organizations did is what I call like a VPN explosion. Everyone gave all the internal users VPN to access the infrastructure. But giving them VPN possesses a lot of challenges. So to overcome those challenges, they have put other infrastructure solutions in place, a lot of them. So from an infrastructure point of view, we went into virtualization, load balancing, remote desktop. And then we said, oh, the user is not secured. So we got to secure the user and we got to secure the device. So again, burst of technologies, okay? And it doesn't end there. If you see, I've just kind of put a couple of slides, So the typical question the CISO would ask, or the head of security would ask the team is, how can we ensure that we are secure as a bank, or as as an insurance company, or as a security company? So what are the measures? And typically the team would come with a world of solutions, okay, and say, this is what we got to do in order to be fully secure. A lot of banks went ahead, deployed all this quickly, efficiently, put all the budgets in place, but still the challenge was the threats still exist. There are still huge amount of challenges on the infrastructure, okay? And if we have to kind of put it in few bullets, what are those challenges? The questions to ask is, in spite of me investing in all those solutions, and having the best of vendors in place, do I really have real-time visibility into all my assets and activities in the environment? And real-time visibility for a bank could be across the different segments, across the different services that you offer, across the different applications that you offer, across the different platforms that you have to offer. And you need to have real-time visibility. Are you aware of all, your systems that are vulnerable or that would have potential gaps? Now, we know we got to do continuous audits. We know we got to do continuous, checks on our compliance, on our regulations, on all of that. But still, we are challenged with vulnerable systems and gaps in the processes. You will also check the user accounts, because it's a typical challenge that we all see from a fraud perspective. We always know the fraudsters are one step ahead of us of the game, but thanks to technology, we are able to at least identify them. So how quickly can you identify these accounts? How quickly can you identify zero-day ransom? Today, we talk about zero-day protection or zero-day threats and the ZTNA, the Zero Trust Network Access. Very good slogans, very good expressions, but how do I really implement a zero-day, a Zero Trust Network Access? So what does it mean to have to prevent data exfiltration? So still, in spite of deploying the universe of solutions, still there are several questions to ask, and this only gets more and more difficult. So the question to ask is, would you like to get all these capabilities in a single platform. So why do we, what is the compelling reason to have all this in place? The compelling reason to have all this in place is because even though we have deployed all several technologies, most of all these technologies are all deployed from a silo perspective. Like as you see, to start off with, we had email protection, we have web protection, then we went into sandboxing, then we went into SIM. The latest talk is about EDR, and even not EDR, now you have vendors that talk about XDR. And the question to ask ourselves is, in spite of all this, are we still secure? And the question is, no, we are not, because each of these have to be integrated horizontally and laterally. So if they are not integrated bi-directional, you're still going to have gaps. So therefore, we find ourselves in situations, even though we've invested a lot, we still have disparate points products. We have hard deployments where we have, multiple agents that need to be deployed on the endpoints. We have manual integrations, and we have partial threat coverage. So we don't really get end-to-end visibility. And in today's situation where we are challenged with budgets, and the questions CISOs ask their teams is, are we secure? And it's still a nightmare to answer that question. So we as Nanjgel are working with head of securities and with cybersecurity owners like the CISOs, where we are encouraging them to get into single platforms where you can have complete visibility and all this automated. So we are reducing the noise in terms of the number of tools, and we are helping them to optimize budgets without compromising on feature functionality and manageability. So this platform that we are here to offer you is an autonomous breach platform where 80% of all your cyber threats are all automated, and 20% is left for the analysts or the SOC teams to really take care of for optimization and better planning. So the first important thing is to be able to see everything. The second is to be able to automate a lot of the day-to-day tasks. And the third is to monitor 24/7. These are the foundations of the solution. So what do you mean by gain visibility? Gain visibility is to be able to gain complete end-to-end visibility, whether it's an endpoint, whether it's a network, whether it's a server, whether it's an application, whether it's a user, whether it's technology. You should be able to have complete visibility of the entire infrastructure. Once you have complete visibility and you know what you got to protect, or you've identified all your important assets within the organization, then you can start having automation or response in place. And we're not talking about implementing, high funda SOAR platforms, but we're talking about being able to build small playbooks that can do multiple things at the same time. Once these two are achieved, you can, of course, then have remediation in place, or you can have resolution in place, which can then be handled by your SOC teams or automated teams. So we're just simplifying the whole process within the budget. So what is this visibility, and how can we achieve this? So this is a single agent technology that gives you, this is a single agent that gives you multiple technologies. So once we deploy this agent within your servers, within your application servers, your web servers, your endpoints, the first important aspect is you get complete network discovery and complete network inventory, which is very important. Like as I said in the previous slide, the most important thing is to get visibility, to understand what your assets are and the value of what you want to protect. So once you have network discovery, then you have inventory by default within the same functionality. And it gives you, when you talk about inventory, it's not about just saying this server is there, but it's now this application is up and running, but it's about this server is like how many users are using this application at this point in time. These users are connected from which devices, through which switch, through which part of the infrastructure. How is the performance? How are the statistics? Are they looking all great? Are they looking, because again, it's not just good to have an application up and running. It's very important to understand that application, what's the performance, what's the utilization, what's the end user response time like, coupled with the security aspects. Because very often, a bad response need not be bad configuration, or bad response need not be that the server that the application is deployed on has some issues. It could be potential threats. A spike in traffic could be, a DDoS. It could be a malware. It could be a spyware. It could be so many things. So that's the dispute between a network operation team and a security operation team. And how quickly can you resolve that? How quickly can you identify that? the artificial intelligence and the machine learning that resides within these tools gives you that instant visibility. Once you have that visibility, then you can start monitoring. You can start monitoring and start looking for your attack surface vectors. Or it could potentially, you could look at who are your potential threats within the network and start zeroing on them. So it's important to quickly identify all the red dots within the network, and then seeing who are they communicating to, and what is the immediate instant impact, rather than having to spend hours, days, and months to really identify that something happening. So this is the intelligence that's built in within the tool to reduce time to resolve and quickly identify root cause analysis. Then comes, as I said, the fancy stuff, the attack prevention and detection, which sometimes is very often called as the EDR functionality or the XDR functionality. Now, just for us to accomplish this at this point in time, we would need to have minimum 3 or 4 vendor solutions to be able to get to understand what's really happening from the attacker's perspective, from a prevention perspective, and from a detection perspective. 3 key strong technologies. A lot of solutions offered there in the market are very strong on the attack, very strong on the prevention or detection, and a lot of them help us to detect. But the question in today's world, in the pandemic situation that we are in, where our users are not in the office, where our clients, our customers are connecting to our core banking applications, our customers that are connecting to our platform, we don't have visibility from where are they connecting, how are they connecting, what's the endpoint device, how secure, how safe are the devices. So it's not sufficient just to have an attack mechanism or a detection in place. It's very important to have prevention methods in place as well, because an integration of all the 3 can help us to remediation. So within the solution, whether you look at it from an application or file perspective, when you look at it from a network perspective, whether you look at it from a user perspective, with the help of this technology, we are able to break down those pieces of those components of access to be able to quickly identify that particular user, what is his attack vector space like, what are the processes that are running within those machines there, what are the protocols that are using there, what could be the potential threats. So he gets everything on a single pane of glass without having to flip screens, without having too many complicated correlations, policies, and filters that have to be done on the system. The complete task is automated based on artificial intelligence, machine learning, and a lot of algorithms that are heuristic based and dynamic based, that gives the complete visibility to the analyst. So he's quickly able to take action or quickly able to identify what's the health of that user, that customer, that client, regardless whether he is local, he's remote, or he's connecting from any third-party device or BYOD device. Once we have attack prevention and detection in place, of course, then we can have response and orchestration. Again, in terms of response and orchestration, we are not talking about having the big fives in place. Response and orchestration within this tool is multiple playbooks that can be quickly built, or most of them are already adaptive to your infrastructure and your network based on dynamics, on day-to-day dynamics. Like typically it's anything between 8 to 14 weeks. Once the tool is able to understand the functionality of your day-to-day operations, 80% of all this can automatically be automated based on baselines. The 20% is what you can customize based on the different policies that you have within the framework, based on the different policies that you want to configure on the infrastructure. You can automatically orchestrate all this between the platform. So it's a single platform that gives you all of this at typically half the cost of what you would spend to implement at least 10 to 15 solutions to be able to reach this space. And finally, it gives you a single dashboard where you can have alerting, you can have threat monitoring, you can have attack investigation, you can do on-demand analysis, you can have whitelisting and tuning, and of course, remediation and the rest of the automation that can happen within the platform. The platform deploys in a couple of minutes, and it can be rolled out for minimum, 100,000 users within a couple of hours. Okay. So if you look at it, what we have to offer you is a single platform that offers you multiple technologies. So you can have your antivirus, you can have your next generation AVs, you can have your EDR functionalities, you can have network analysis, you can have deception, user behavioral analysis on the front end, which are like the prevention and detection mechanisms. You can have monitoring and control on one end, which is like file integrity monitoring, inventory management, log collection, vulnerability analysis. So this is, the monitoring and control, and then this is the response and orchestration. So this is a tightly integrated platform which has everything automated. It's built on a very high kind of algorithms of artificial intelligence and machine learning, which I keep stressing on. But the important thing is, if I take away this platform and I look at my current architecture and my current infrastructure, I'm literally deploying a vendor to meet each of these requirements. And as I showed you in the previous slides, it's not about deploying the solutions from the best vendors, but then to be able to have immediate kind of visibility, detection, and prevention. All these have to be tightly integrated. All these have to be tightly kind of working together to be able to detect, prevent, and mitigate. And this platform helps you to do that. The beauty of this platform is it's a single license. You pay only for one license and you get all of this functionality. And typically, if you look at a cost analysis, it's like 1/4 the cost of what you would pay for each of these vendors and each of these agents. And if that itself is not great, you got to remember that this complete platform is also backed by a 24/7 global SOC, which is like it follows the follow the sun concept. So you will never be out of support. We have instances based in India as well. So all data remains within the country. All data can remain within the premises. The deployment of this can be multifunctional. You can have an on-prem deployment, you can have a cloud deployment, or you can have a SaaS offering. Again, the most important takeaway is we're helping you to reduce the solution explosion of having multiple solutions. So this platform helps you to reduce having multiple solutions so your team can focus on visibility, detection, and prevention and remediation, which is the most important thing. And it helps you to reduce your cost. Okay. And of course, to keep our CISOs engaged with what we are doing on a day-to-day basis, you can have fancy dashboards. Reducing time based on the deployment and management. We help you to save money. We help you to consolidate all the solutions. We're helping you to empower your security team, enhancements of skill and capacity, and we help you to provide 24/7 visibility to the entire crew. And if you need further information, we have a wonderful team that's locally based, and these are the contact details for our country director, Mr. Benison Was. Thank you. It was wonderful. It was a wonderful time. Thank you very much.